All righty, everybody. I'd like to say welcome in the Boo Lee Production Studio. And first of all, I'd like to say congratulations to my good friend, Mr. Dusty Baker, and the Houston Astros. And a lot of people are saying, well, what you got with this Atlanta Braves on? Because I made a bet with my son. Because he is a big Atlanta Braves fan ever since he's been going to Madison High School. And I bet with him that if Atlanta would make it to the World Series, and this bet go way back to July, before I went to New York. Say if the Astros make it to the World Series, which I kind of doubted because they had the second best record next to the Tampa Bay Rays. And I said and told my son there ain't no way Atlanta was gonna make it because they wasn't even playing 500 baseball. Anyway, when they did make it to the playoff, Houston and Atlanta, and my son told me then, he said, Pops, I think it's gonna be the Astros and the Braves. I said, no, I can't see the Braves beating the Dodgers. I can't even see them beating Milwaukee. And sure enough, it boiled down to Houston and Atlanta. And I made a bet with my son, if the Atlanta Braves win, I would wear my Atlanta Braves jersey that he gave me. And so therefore we know what's going on. But I still love my Houston Astros because after all, we have won a World Series 4 years ago, and Atlanta hadn't won a World Series in almost 20 years. So, hats off to all the Atlanta Braves. But I want to talk about the blacks and what's happening and what's really happening with the blacks in baseball. Because we raised up in the 50s, even in the 40s, man, when I wasn't even born. Us blacks was raised up on baseball. That's why they formed a Negro League, because baseball was for the white people, and it was the major leagues. And everybody know about Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barriers. But we're talking about 2021 in the 2000s. Why and what happened to blacks in baseball? Well, first of all, we blacks, especially young blacks, they was not raised up on baseball. Baseball got replaced by basketball. And one thing about baseball, you got to be dedicated to the sports. Because see, you just don't up and go into the major leagues without going through the proper channels. That's AAA, minor league, and then major league. See, nowadays, it's all about basketball because you can come straight out of high school like Kobe Bryant and LeBron James and go right into be an instant millionaire. And this what happened to us young blacks. We got lazy. I'm gonna tell you what happened. We got lazy. That's too much work. Why should you have to do all of that when you can go straight out of high school and make millions of dollars? Because baseball is dedicated. You have to be dedicated to the sports. It ain't all about the money in baseball. It's about the pride, the principles, and the training, and the hard work. See, us young blacks, we don't want to do all that hard work. We lazy, man. I'm gonna just straight up tell you, we lazy. And that's because some of our mothers, black mothers, didn't want our kid to do the work. Too much work. It's too hard on them. It's, you know, a lot of black women, I'm gonna make a lot of people mad, but I'm telling you like I see it. A lot of black women, I'm also telling you from my experience, they made a lot of young black men lazy. That's why you don't have that many black young men playing baseball. And baseball is just like any other things that we have here in society. If you don't want to do it, and you so laid back and you so uppity up on your high horses that you feel like you don't need to do it, trust me, it's a lot of other people out there that are begging to even be citizens here in the United States. And they would love to come over here and play baseball and make money. And that's what happened. We didn't have any blacks going out there trying to participate in being baseball. So what Major League Baseball did, they started recruiting people. They had been doing recruiting. They recruiting people way back in the 50s that I can remember. Because I am a big baseball fan. I was raised up in the 50s. And this is what we had was baseball. We didn't have football. Number one, we didn't even have a major league team here in Houston. Period. Football, baseball, nor basketball. So therefore we didn't know. Only thing we knew is what we seen on TV. And every Saturday, NBC would have the game of the week. Baseball. You know. And we were raised up on baseball. But these young blacks, they don't want to go out and do the work. They'd rather take their chances on playing basketball. They'd rather take their chances on having, getting hurt playing football. You know, they feel like they don't have to do it. In football, you don't play no more than 16, 25 games the most. Baseball, you playing 160 games. And that's about if you don't make it to the playoff. Count another 15, probably another 10 to 15, 20 games in playoff before you get to the World Series. You're almost looking at close to 200 games. And that's too much work for young black people today. Because they got lazy. They got this microwave in them. They want instant money. You know, they want to go to elementary school today, and tomorrow they want a high school diploma, and next week they want their degree. They don't believe in going through the cycles. And you say, why? What happened? Parents start giving them too much and spoiling them. Now they rotten. I'm going to tell you how it go. Not all the young black kids that way. I'm not talking about it. I'm talking about the majority compared to the time that we were raised up. So therefore, Major League Baseball had went out and started getting these Dominican Republicans, Cubans, and these other nationalities who can't even speak English, but they making millions of dollars. Why? Because us blacks didn't, that's too much work. We don't want to do that. We better take our chance playing basketball. You don't realize ain't but a certain amount of people gonna make it playing NBA. And ain't but a certain amount of people that's gonna make it in the NFL, and most of those are blacks. Still are going out trying to do something that most blacks ain't doing, and that's baseball. They don't want to do that. That's too much work. But Major League Baseball, that's the oldest sports, professional sports we got. They're not going to close down the Major League Baseball because blacks don't want to play. They're not going to close down Third Ward and let it go to hell because blacks think it's a ghetto. No, they ain't finna do that. They're going to revise it, redo it, and bring in people who want to work. Bring in people that want to do stuff, that's hungry. See, we as blacks, we done got lazy. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to. And now we've been replaced by Hispanics. We got a Major League Baseball field out there in Acres Home. You hear me? Bob Watson and the Astros, along with Mattress Mac and some of the other people on the north side, even Sylvester Turner, and he wasn't even a mayor at that time, put a professional Little League baseball field out there for the young people, not only in Acres Home, even for the whole north side. And now ain't but a handful of blacks, young people, that's out there playing Little League baseball. But you know what? It's a whole lot of Hispanic people out there, youngsters out there trying to learn how to play baseball. They ain't worried about trying to play basketball. They ain't worried about trying to play football. They don't want no concussion. They rather work and work their way up. And that's who using that baseball field out there in Acres Home. And you seen the video on it. Up top-notch baseball field, not only for boys. They got 3. One for the little league, one for the pony league. And then they got another 3 on the other side of the park. Now, should I remind you, now that park go all the way from Victory all the way to West Little. And that's how big that park is. And you talking about from West Little to Victory, you talking about every bit about a little over a mile long. And it have 5 baseball fields. 3 for boys, 2 for girls softball. That just show you. And Bob Watson, in case you want to know, he was the first black for the Houston Astros to be a general manager. Now that's strong. That's how that baseball field got out there. People like Bob Watson, people like Jimmy Wynn, who we all knew as our superstars. And we looked down on people like J.R. Richards, who did so much for the Houston Astros. And one of the first blacks to play for the Houston Astros, I interviewed him, Mr. J.C. Hartman. He played for the Houston Astros when they first came to town, when it was the Houston Colt 45. And he played shortstop. And shortstop is just like being a quarterback on a football team. It's one of them jobs that you, as a black, ain't supposed to have. Even Jackie Robinson wasn't a shortstop, y'all. Let's get the record straight. Pee Wee Reese was the shortstop for the Dodgers at that time. You only had, right now you only got 3 blacks in the Hall of Fame that played shortstop. Because we got to come together and understand that we got to get off our high horses and humble ourselves and be thankful. Still looking at some of the things that we ain't got. We need to be thanking God for some of the things that He have already blessed us with, y'all, before they get taken away. And you looking at basketball, man. Basketball ain't no guarantee for no young blacks these days coming up. Look at all these people they getting from overseas just coming over here playing basketball. Look at the Dallas Texans. Look at the Dallas Maverick. Look at some of these other teams. Look at the San Antonio Spurs. Look at some of these people just here in Texas. Just like the most valuable player for basketball for 2021, he wasn't black, he wasn't white, he was a foreigner. He wasn't raised up here in the United States. So blacks got to start getting them off their high horses thinking that just because they play good basketball, they're going to play for the NBA. No, that ain't the way the party go. It's all about your attitude. And if you got a bad attitude like Deshaun Watson, you will find yourself out there. And I talk about this man because I am upset. You don't get mad at a man that's paying you. If he lied to you, whoop-de-doop. If he racist, whoop-de-doop. All the NFL owners are racism. Just imagine if Jackie Robinson wouldn't have humbled himself down, we wouldn't have been where we at today. And they done gave this man all this goddamn money. Excuse my language, they didn't give this man all this money. Why wasn't he hollering about, I want to be traded before when he signed all that for all that money? Getting paid the most money in the NFL. And ain't even bought a Super Bowl here yet. He was getting paid more money than Holmes for the Kansas City Chiefs. And he already bought a Super Bowl to Kansas City. These are some of the things that I want to speak about. We as young people like Deshaun Watson, we are ungrateful. And then when we don't get our way, we want to be traded. You can't ask to be traded when you're already under contract. Not really. Because if you wanted to be traded, you shouldn't have never signed for all that money that they gave you. That's number one. And number two, if you want to go start talking about your high horses and this and that, and you all that in a bag of chips, you better clean up your closet, man. Because some people could go through your closet with a fine comb and find out all your shortcomings and everything in your closet that they've been washing for you because you was part of them. Yeah, when I say they was washing for you, yeah, they knew about this a long time ago. This ain't just started about him and these women. This thing been going on a long time ago, but what happened? The organization been cleaning up his dirty laundry. And when I say cleaning it up, that means they ain't letting it go to the public. They ain't letting the media get a hold to it. But once you start acting a fool in the media, it's just like a bunch of sharks. They ride around in the water looking for blood. Them people go out there and throw them some meat. And meat mean go in your dirty laundry and throw your laundry out there so they can put it out there on the media and put it and let it go public. And when it go public, it's going national. When it going national, it's going worldwide. See, all of this, and I go back to show you how upset I am with Deshaun Watson. All the people, the quarterbacks that talked about I want to be traded, where they at? Aaron Rodgers, I'm leaving Green Bay, where his buddy is. And he a white boy, he's in Green Bay. And this other boy, Wilson, playing for Seattle. I don't want to be for Seattle. They got to give me some blockers. I want to be traded. Where he at? Still with Seattle with his mouth closed. So I say this because these people who sitting out here like Deshaun Watson, they making it look bad for the other young blacks that want to come up. I know how hard it was for blacks to play quarterback because I came up during the time they didn't want no blacks playing quarterback. That was a no-no. And to see people like Briscoe, Doug Williams, James Harris, people who open the door for people like him. That's ungrateful. That's very ungrateful. Well, what should he have done? He should have stuck to his word. Your word is your bond. He should have did like J.J. Watts, wait until his contract was over and then get traded. No, he think he all that in the bag of chips now because he did a good year and passing all these yards and all this, but it wouldn't be for the blockers and the offensive coordinator who giving him the plays to play. He would have never been able to do all that. I say this because I'm upset. I'm upset with a bunch of young, ungrateful people like Deshaun Watson. Look at him. You think he hurting the Astros? You think he hurting McNair? Okay, so what if the NRG Stadium is empty? So what if they ain't winning? You think it's hurting McNair? I don't think so. It's hurting the city more than it's hurting McNair. Because NFL gonna pay him regardless. Every time they bring a camera into that NRG Stadium, he gonna get paid. Whether or not, I don't give a damn if don't two people be out there at the NRG Stadium. He gonna get paid. Yeah, Deshaun Watson sitting at home, he getting paid. But you know what? All his money being ate up by that goddamn my good buddy Rusty Dusty, his attorney, and his legal team that's trying to get him off the hook so he can play. And ain't nobody gonna forget about it. This man is scarred, y'all. Whoop-de-doop. If he go out there and do this and do that and do that, oh yeah, people might have a tendency to overlook it, but they ain't gonna forget about it. not 22 cases that have stacked up against him. You know, I'm upset, y'all, because I know how hard it was for blacks to get into to be a quarterback. Very upset because I know how hard it was for Warren Moon to come here to be a quarterback of this racist city that we live in. And to see somebody like him come in here with his high horses and he all that in the bag of chips because he got a national championship, and all because he can't get his way, he want to get traded, knowing damn well his closet is dirty, knowing good and well he ain't living the life like he's supposed to be living. Because if he would, they wouldn't be bringing out all these things on him. These ain't no lies and outlets. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it ain't true. But these people ain't going to make this stuff up on him for no reason at all. Come on, y'all. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. No, I ain't got no love for Deshaun Watson. And that thing that he did for Jack Yates, let's get the record straight. The Negro didn't do a goddamn thing for Jack Yates. Nike the one that gave them uniforms to Jack Yates. Deshaun Watson ain't did nothing for blacks in Houston. Not compared to what Andre Johnson did. So I ain't got no love for him, y'all. And they do what they got to do to him. You know, because I don't remember now time him going into the black community, doing anything for the black community since he been in Houston. I might be wrong, but I don't believe he did. Like I said, when he went to Yates, them uniforms, he didn't give that to Yates. Nike paid him to do that, all because of George Floyd. And that's the real deal, y'all. And I thank you so much. And I'll close out with this. On the behalf of all us here in Houston, I want to say congratulations to the Atlanta Braves. And they won that for Hank Aaron, y'all. Hank Aaron's wife. You can believe you gonna see her. You can believe you finna see Hank Aaron's wife and what that World Series meant to Atlanta, Georgia. And Hank Aaron was one of the first to come from Milwaukee, black players, to come from the east to the south to play for the Atlanta Braves when they moved from Milwaukee. And trust me, he didn't want to come to that redneck country, city, racist city. But you know what? The team moved, and he was under contract. And that's how Hank Aaron wound up playing for the Atlanta Braves. But his career started with the Milwaukee Braves. But by the time Dusty Baker got in the major league, and Dusty finished school out in California, a year behind me, Dusty finished in 68, and started playing Major League Baseball and got drafted by the Atlanta Braves. And his daddy didn't want him to go play baseball. His daddy wanted him to go to college, go to USC, and go to UCLA and make him proud, but Dusty Baker wanted to go otherwise. He went to play Major League Baseball. And Hank Aaron's daddy, Hank Aaron promised Dusty Baker's daddy that he would take him under his arms and his wing as a son and make sure none of them Ku Klux Klan people in Georgia would mess with him. And when they moved from Milwaukee to Atlanta, they told the people in Atlanta, don't you dare mess with Hank Aaron. If you mess with Hank Aaron, we will snatch this goddamn franchise out of Georgia so quick it's gonna give you a swimming in the head, and we'll take the goddamn franchise somewhere else. That's why they didn't mess with Hank Aaron. Because when Hank Aaron went over there, boy, racist tension was up. Ku Klux Klan was heavy. The black movement was heavy. Martin Luther King was heavy. Because the owner of the Milwaukee Braves, when he moved his town, his franchise to Atlanta, which was going to be the first major league sports to go to the South. And they didn't believe in having no major league or professional team in the South because of the Jim Crow law and all the Ku Klux Klan down here and the racists they had down here. And they wasn't finna separate their players from the whites to the blacks. They wasn't finna do that. That's why you don't see no Alabama professional football team. You don't see no Mississippi professional football team. It wouldn't been for New Orleans and Mr. John Meekham's son, John Meekham Jr., who bought the Saints to New Orleans to just test the water on football. It wouldn't be no Atlanta Falcons. It wouldn't been for the Hank Aaron. And if you look back, ain't no Major League Baseball team in the South but Atlanta. Mississippi don't have now. Alabama don't have now. Louisiana don't have now. Charlotte don't have now. Carolina ain't got none. Because they don't play that old racist thing. See, they got rid of that racist thing in 1949 when they brought in Jackie Robinson.